Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Hayoim Shiva ve'esrim yoim sheim shlisha shavuos v'shisha yomim ba'omer lo'omer. Rabbi Sai, I can tell my grandchildren that in my lifetime I saw Nisim Gluyim. I saw 350 missiles launched towards Eretz Yisrael, and not a single one came. One showed up here and made a hole in the ground. Two, and a Bedouin girl got hurt from a piece of sharpenel. And a month and a half later, the orchestrator of that whole thing, tight, dead. Shamati Roisi. Nisiv neflois. Rabbi say, here we go. David Green.
It's on Daf Yomi podcast. We have to find it on today's stuff.
Ashreinu shezachinu lahadlika or gamba mizrach in China. I forgot this person's name. Somebody just sent me afterwards that he is the mumcha in bugs and food or something like that. That's where they, you know who he is? What's his name? Tell me in a second. Here we have Michael Chessel. Now, you guys know him as, the guy from the Everglades, but I want to tell you, he's a huge Baal Chesed. He called up Yosef. He said, listen, I want to take your family out on a boat, on a really nice boat. And then he took them on a little trip to the Everglades. And here you go, Rabbi Isai. Now, I have a few artists here for Mishpacha that's so involved with the Daf, the way they say, good morning, Rabbi Isai. We got to work on it, but
hey, we're here in the Florida Everglades. Usually I call this a Marabu trip, but this is a Hakaras Hatov trip. Rebelli's been speaking about Yosef Billyack every day this past week, and here he is. I found him deep in the Everglades, and we have a tremendous Hakaras Hatov to the Billyack family for the dedication they give to the Shir, being part of the MDY family, and we look forward to having all of you here in the Florida Everglades when you come to visit. And Marissa with us over here, one of our alligator friends.
all right. The koil of the day. We should all have a Simchas Pesach Sheni. The koil of the day, second one, Tzvi Korlin, in honor of the birth of our daughter Elisheva Rose, L'zeicha Nishmas Safta Elisheva Tzubeli. I used to live right next to them in Eretz Yisrael, in Ramat al-Chanan, on Rechav Zonenfeld, and they're also like very good friends. Kitzer, Mordechai Sapaznik works for Tzubeli's son-in-law. Kitzer, it's a small world. The Masechta, anonymous, for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Parnas HaChodesh, L'nishma Zechrya ben Moshe, L'nishma Zechrya bas Yosef, Parnas HaYoim. Leiby, when you wave to him, you think he sees you?
For sure he sees.
How does he see through the screen? You mean this camera's on also? Okay, could be. Parnas HaYoim, the Rafur Shlema, L'Harava Goyin, Rom Tzvi ben Chana, Miriam Shmulevitz Shlita. For Shlema. Today's daf as a Zechus for a Shidduch for Meir ben Chana by a fellow Daffer. Rabbi said we're holding on Daf Pei Aleph Amud Beis, 80 Daf into Masechtas Bava Metzia, 7 lines from the bottom. Hilvo ala mashkin shemasacher. Stam a question. If I ask you to bring this, bottle of wine to the neighbor, you do me a favor or whatever it is. You walk down the street, down the sidewalk, and you trip and you break the bottle. You chayev or you potter. Is tripping a pshia or a oinus? What's tripping? Machlokes. That's Hill's job to say. You know for a fact it's a machlokes? Nitkel b'sheach. Okay. So we're going to have a little bit of a sugya that we're holding very geschmackes stuff. 7 lines from the bottom. Hilvo ala mashkoin shomer sachar. So, hilvo ala mashkoin means the loiva says, lend me money. So the malva says, okay, I'll lend you money, but give me collateral. And he says, okay, here, take the collateral. Now, that collateral, that Tesla, that car, is the malva shomer chinam or shomer sachar? He's watching it. He took it because he gave him a loan. What is he? So it says in the Mishnah, he's a shomer sachar. So if the car was stolen, happens once in a while, shomer sachar, yechayev. Says the Gemara, perhaps our Mishnah doesn't go according to Rebbe Eliezer. And the Gemara remains with that. It doesn't go according to Rebbe Eliezer. The Sanya. If you lend somebody money and he gives you a car as collateral and it was lost, now, Rabbi Yisai, what is collateral? How do we view collateral? What is it? Is collateral something that if you don't get paid, you take the collateral? That's how we view it usually. Collateral is a way to collect, or is collateral a raya? It's proof that I lent you money. I could wave it in front of you. You see this Tesla? Remember, it's yours. Here, give me my money back. But it's not to collect. Rebbe Eliezer is of the opinion that collateral is just a raya. Therefore, he holds that you, as the malva, as the loaner, you are a shomer chinam. Therefore, yishav avital ma'isav. If it's lost, as a shomer chinam, you are potter from gneva v'aveda. It was lost, so you need to swear that you're not pusheya, you are negligent. Vital ma'isav, and then he could go and collect the loan. Divrei Rebbe Eliezer. So Nachamal. According to Rebbe Eliezer, the mashkoin is a raya. The malva is a shomer chinam. And that's a big problem because our Mishnah says that the malva is a shomer sachar. Rebbe Kiva Omer, Yochel Omer lo yiklum hilvisani el ala mashkoin. He's a shomer sachar. He has enough from this mashkoin. He's mishabed himself. Klum hilvisani el ala mashkoin. I only gave you the loan because you gave me the Tesla. Abraham mashkoin of the moisecha. They're connected. No Tesla, no loan. So you lost the Tesla, you lost your ability to collect. But what if he gave him a shtar? A shtar is the biggest raya. I don't need collateral for a raya. I have a shtar. It says, you owe me money, 2 eidim sign the whole thing. And in addition to the shtar, he gave him a collateral. Now the collateral is not a raya. Then everybody will agree to Rebbe Kiva that the mashkoin is a way to be goiva, to collect, and therefore, if you lost that, you lost your whole loan. The bottom line is, our Mishnah says that a malva has a halacha of a shomer sachar. Hilvo ala mashkoin shomer sachar, no questions. And Rebbe Eliezer seems to be holding that he's a shomer chinam. Afilu tamer Rebbe Eliezer, perhaps you could say it goes like Rebbe Eliezer. When you get the collateral, you get the Tesla at the time of the loan, like in this picture over here. It happened at the same time. So it's not to collect, it's for proof. It's like giving a shtar at the time of the loan. Then it's a raya. That's what Rebbe Eliezer holds, it's a raya. But our Mishnah, when a guy comes to and says, listen, you owe me $1,000. No, I don't. I do. I don't have. So he schleps him to Bezdin. He schleps him to Bezdin, and Bezdin says, you know what, you have to pay. And he says, I don't have. So he says, okay, so at least give him a car. You have a car, give him a car. Meanwhile, until you can come up with some money. So now the car is no longer proof. What's the car? The car is for collection purposes. It's instead of money, it's lieu of money. So, then That's why our Mishnah says, Hilvo ala mashkoin, shomer sachar. In this case, because he gave him a car, because he schlepped him to Bezdin, then he's a shomer sachar. The problem is, asked the Gemara the obvious question, it says that to begin with, day one, when he took the loan, he gave him a car. Doesn't say anything in the Mishnah about schlepping him to Bezdin a month later. Elo daf pei beis Amud Aleph on top. Elo leikasha. Kan shilvo mois. When are you a shomer chinam, like Rebbe Eliezer says? When there's a regular money transfer. So there's no shomer sachar here. Kan shilvo peiros, but when you lend fruit and you get in return, what do you get when you lend fruit? You get in return. It's like sub. But we're not going to talk about that problem. Okay, no problem with sub. He lent him 1,000 pounds. He deals with fruit. Okay? The guy says, "Can I borrow 1,000 pounds of apples?" He's almost happy to give him those apples. Why? Because now, a month later, he's going to get fresh apples. He's worried about these apples. What's going to happen? They're going to rot. So he has a hana here. So that hana makes him a shomer sachar. Says the Gemara, "Midiktanim say for Rabbi Yehuda Meir ilvo mo shomer chinam, ilvo perish shomer sachar." Wow, forgot to show this. Okay, we got to show. Can't skip anything. The Mishnah says, the Mishnah says he's a shomer sachar. We'll see in a second. Rabbi Kiva holds Rabbi Eliezer holds you're shomer chinam. The problem is that in our Mishnah it says that he's a shomer sachar. So Rabbi Kiva lines up with our Mishnah. Rabbi Eliezer doesn't. That's what we're trying to figure out over here. Now, just to show us the Mishnah, in case you don't want to look in, the Reisha says, then the Sefer Rabbi Yehuda comes up and says, no, we can make a distinction between money and fruit. Money, you're shomer chinam, fruit, you're shomer sachar. So the Gemara says, wait a minute, how could you explain Rebbe Eliezer to say that there's a difference between money and fruit? The Mishnah itself talks about money and fruit, all the way at the end. Obviously, the beginning of the Mishnah is not making a distinction between money and fruit. There is no difference between money and fruit, and both are shomer sachar. The Mishnah says everything is shomer sachar. Look, no difference between fruit and money. Everything is a shomer sachar. Comes Rabbi Yehuda says, no, I want to make a chiluk. Fruit is a shomer sachar, money is not. So you can't tell me that Rabbi Eliezer is explaining the Reisha as a difference between money and fruit. Doesn't make any sense. That chiddush of a difference between money and fruit came in the Sefer. Rabbi Yehuda's mechadish. Nothing to do with the Reisha. Says the Gemara, no, you don't chap. There is no Rabbi Yehuda, Reisha, Sefer. The whole Mishnah is one person. His name is Rabbi Yehuda. It starts, Hilvo ala mashkin shomer sachar, and just goes into the Sefer to explain how and when. So in Meila, it makes sense. Okay, Rabbi Eliezer goes like the Mishnah. What does Chasuri Mechsera mean? That in order to make the Mishnah not understood in a way that you could easily remember it, they chopped out a lot of words. You have to remember, it's all about peh, it wasn't written down. They understood what it meant. We don't, so we'll explain. That's the Reisha. If you take collateral, you the malva, you the lender, you turn into shomer sachar, and if it gets lost and stolen, you're chayiv. But let's qualify that. B'medvar mamurim shilvo peiros. That's only fruit. Avol hilvo moy shomer chinam shebyuda oimer hilvo moy shomer chinam hilvo peiros shomer sachar. Great. So let's go back over here. So now we're saying that the whole Mishnah goes according to Rebbe Eliezer. In fact, the Mishnah is explaining that there's a difference. No, you're right. If you lent money, you're a shomer chinam. If you lent fruit, you're a shomer sachar. You explain the Mishnah like Rebbe Eliezer. That means you're knocking Rebbe Kiva out. That according to Rebbe Kiva, money in the Mishnah, money is shomer chinam. According to Rebbe Kiva, money shomer sachar. So it doesn't fit well with Rebbe Kiva. Now, there's a very important Rashi here. Top line. We learned in Sanhedrin, Bekulas Stami. any Mishnah, what do we know? We have a cloud in Shas. Stam Mishnah goes according to Reb Meir. But who's Reb Meir's Rebbe? Reb Akiva. So that means, in other words, you're saying Stam Mishnah, Reb Akiva. Stam Mishnah, Reb Meir, says Rashi. Stam Sifra, Reb Yehuda, another Talmud of Reb Akiva. Stam Sifri, Reb Shimon, another Talmud of Reb Akiva. All Sifri is Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. V'kula li b'Reb Akiva. So how could you tell me that our Mishnah goes according to Rebbe Eliezer when a Stam Mishnah goes is Rebbe Akiva? Hello. Machvartum asisin like Rebbe Eliezer. Our Mishnah, like we start off, goes like Rebbe Akiva and not Rebbe Eliezer. Rebbe Eliezer is of the opinion that a mashkoin given to a malva, the malva becomes a shomer chinam, and the Mishnah says it's a shomer sachar. Says the Gemara, so what is the machlokes here? And this is going to bring us into some famous machlokes that we're very familiar with. Lema b'delei shavi mashkoin shir zuzi. Maybe the machlokes Rebbe Eliezer and Rebbe Akiva is where the mashkin is not worth the loan. You got $1 million loan, you give the guy a $10,000 car as collateral. What does Shmuel say? Dama Shmuel. And l'chayr Rebbe Akiva is going to hold like the Shmuel, and Rebbe Eliezer is going to argue. Somebody gives his friend 1,000 zuz, which is a lot of money. I have a kata de magolo. I hope. Oh, somebody this year gave this to me. Who gave this to me? Shkoyach. I forgot. Shkoyach. Thank you. You see, I'm using it. Sickle. Cycle? No, sickle. 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 Like a sickle. Not even the whole sickle, but just the handle. You gave $1 million, and he says, you know what, let me give you the handle. Forget the whole kli, just the handle part. We actually have a nice picture here. The simcha that the guy has is getting this loan, and he offers him a stick. Okay, that's a mashkin. Now that would work. Now, if you ask yourself, why would he give him a stick and why would he accept the stick? Because perhaps, like we explained before, sometimes the mashkin is a gvia, sometimes it's a raya. He's giving a raya. Like who gave a stick in the Torah? Yehuda. Here's my stick. I don't know if it's payment. I don't know if the stick is worth something. But you can't deny that you owe me money. Here, everybody recognizes the stick. Since this stick represents the entire $1 million loan, so if you lose the stick, Avda Afazuze, says Shmuel. Now, nobody really likes that here. Neither does the Gemara so much. But there is a Shita Shmuel that says that since I gave you this mashkoin and this mashkoin represents the whole loan, if you lose the mashkoin, you lose the whole thing. Says Rebbe Akiva. Rebbe Akiva holds like Shmuel. Says Gemara, even though shavi mashkin shir zuzi, if it's not the same, what? What do you mean? Makes him.
Let's do this one.
Huh?
How's the machloek with Akiva and Eliezer?
Hi man, this is Alpha Zuz leChavrei. V'anach lekata de magolo vayu. Ovad kata de magolo. This is what we're saying. That according to Rebbe Eliezer, it's a raya. According to Rebbe Eliezer, it's a raya. According to Rebbe Akiva, it's not a raya. This is the guvaina. Okay, we had a machlokes before. Yeah. What is a mashkoin? Is a mashkoin a raya, or is a mashkoin the whole entire thing? I could collect from here. Says Rebbe Akiva, I'm collecting from this whole thing. That's the mashkin. You become a shomer sachar. How do you become a shomer sachar? Because I have enough from this thing. I'm holding on to your money. And look, here, it says mefurish, if the stick goes, the whole loan goes. Rebbe Eliezer says, mapitom. 1 second. Rebbe Eliezer says, let me just finish, then you'll explain. Rebbe Eliezer says, no connection. This is a raya ba'alma. So if it's just a raya, I'm not a shomer sachar, I'm a shomer chinam. Yeah, what? What are you saying? Yeah? Rishkoil? Even though Shavi Mashkin chooses it.
It says Yehuda Omer. Omer after the name means he's chola.
What?
When it says Omer and then the name,
yeah,
it means he doesn't argue. And when it has the Omer
after
the name, then he's chola. So how could the Mishnah by Rabbi Yehuda. Full Mishnah.
Oh, he's saying before. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Let's see what he's saying. He's saying Rabbi Yehuda Omer as if it's not. He's not. It's not the Mishnah is not only him. I hear. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's explaining. He's explaining. He's qualifying. Sure, Rabbi Yehuda. You have to stick in a shin. Very good aura. Zog the Gemara. Says the Gemara, no. If the collateral doesn't equal the amount of the loan, the kula alma less lahu the Shmuel, everybody argues. In other words, Rebbe Les is going to say, like he says, it doesn't do a thing, and Rebbe Akiva is going to say, how much is the stick worth? It's worth 2 zuz, so we'll take 2 zuz off the 1,000 zuz loan. Okay, so that's not the machlokes. The machlokes is we're going to say, we're going back to the case, it's a normal mashkin, I give you $1,000, you give me a Tesla. There's another shayla. Another famous sugya. Here's the pasuk. If a poor person comes to your door or borrows money and he gives you as collateral, he gives you his pajamas, his night clothing, it says you have to give it back to him at night. And you will have tzedakah, it will be considered a tzedakah by you giving him his pajamas back. Now, you cannot do tzedakah with somebody else's money. You can't take somebody else's money and be mekayim tzedakah. So the fact that the Torah considers it a tzedakah to you, that means the pajamas are yours, even though it's his, but he gave it to you as collateral. So when you have it in your hand, like this picture right over here, MDY PJs, geschmack. So, no? Gives him back his PJs at night. Donnie has a better nose. Gershon, if Yishchak Donnie over there?
Just talking about the hair, Donnie. Everyone's jealous of the hair.
Now go back to the picture. Oh. Donnie has an 8-pack. No. Shenemar. How do you know that the Malva? The Malva. How do you know he owns, so to speak, the PJs, and therefore, if something happens to the pajamas, he's chayiv in oinsim. Shenemar it's considered your tzedakah. If the Malva doesn't halachically own the pajamas, why is it considered tzedakah? So Rebbe Akiva will agree with this, that he owns the mashkin. And Rebbe Lezer will argue he doesn't own the mashkin. Says the Gemara with his B'reim and Omar Rabbi Yitzchak. We're going to have later on Daf Kuf Yud Gimel says Rashi that the pasuk right before is talking about when Bezdin comes, Shliach Bezdin comes and says, hey, give a mashkin. When does that happen? That happens after the loan took place. And then that distinction we made earlier. When the loan, that was like the last line on Amud Beis, Pei Aleph Amud Beis. Shemishkenoi b'shas halvasoi, that when you take collateral at the point of the halva, then the collateral is a raya, it's like a shtar. When you take collateral later on in the halva, 2 months later when the guy's not paying, then it's like a payment. So says the Gemara, we already established later on in the Masechta that the whole pasuk L'chati Tzedakah is talking about a different type of collateral. Some collateral after the guy refused to pay, and Bezdin come and take it out of his house. That's different. That's like a payment. He never said it at the point of the loan where that's more like a raya than a payment. We're going from thing to thing here. And there's another Gevaldika famous sugya. What's the sugya here? When we had R Eli the Yerushalmi come in here. Here, so let me show you the video, and we'll go from here. Here's the video, and I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I want you to look at Rabbi Schoenberg. Look what he does here. In that I know.
Get lost. Not in the middle of a shir, please. He's right.
In the middle of learning, I can't give you anything. Anyway, so that is the sugya of Pruto Derav Yosef, and also the Ha'isik b'mitzvah poter min ha-mitzvah. What? I loved it. No, what happened was I called up, I sent a message to Yosef. I said, where's the video of the guy coming in the middle? So both me and Yosef are looking for it for 15 minutes. And all of a sudden Yoshi texts me, do you want me to insert the video of the guy coming in? I'm like, yeah, you have it. Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing Rabbi Shlomo is getting annoyed. All these guys are like, who fell for it? Okay. You did the right thing, Rabbi Schoenberg. I'm asking. It never happened before, but that's why. The mashkin happened at the time of the alva. Okay, so Nachamal. We're talking about again, so we already established the mashkin is worth the whole amount of the loan. We already established it cannot be that he took the mashkin in the middle of the loan. That everybody would agree is a gvia, it's more like money. So now we're talking about that the mashkin happened at the beginning of the loan, it's the full amount. And we have the same achloikas like by somebody who finds a lost object. If you find something and the Torah obligates you to take care of it and return it. My son Yoel over here found an iPhone in our house that somebody left there in 2016. That was like the last thing. He just found it. So we had a discussion if he could keep it or not. Even if he could keep it, he can't keep it. It's an iPhone. It was in a drawer they're trying to get rid of. Anyway, we have to find it. It's all in French. The problem is it's all in French. It's a French. If you're French, and the first thing I went to the WhatsApp, the first guy there, I know the guy. So I have to figure it out. Didmar. No password. Very dangerous. Didmar Shemave the Rabbi, all his bank stuff, everything. No password. Shomer Ave the Rabbi, I have no idea what the pshat is. I can't. Uh-oh. Somebody's car is blocking. Didmar Shomer Avedo. Rabbi Omak Yishoy Mechinam.
No one's car is blocking.
So it's Mashiach?
Rav Yosef Omar Kishoy Mesachar. Then what? The halacha is ha'isik b'mitzvah poter min ha-mitzvah. That means that if you're dealing with a mitzvah, and Taisus always says it doesn't mean you're wearing tzitzis or tefillin that you don't have to do anything, but you're actually dealing with the mitzvah. You're taking care of the animal you found. So you're potter from doing other mitzvahs. So you have that hana, that if a poor person comes to you, wow, beautiful hana. Poor guy comes to you, you don't have to give him a pruta. Ooh, so geschmack. That geschmackheit makes you into a shomer sachar. Rabbi says, no, what are the chances that as you're dealing with the aveda, the guy's going to come and ask you for tzedakah? So Rabbi Kiva holds like Rabbi Yosef. Yeah? Then it becomes a shomer sachar. That's what we're talking about the whole sugis. Rabbi Kiva holds shomer sachar. Rabbi Elazar holds he's a shomer chinam. Because Rabbi Kiva holds that there's a certain hana. Why is there a hana? Because just like by Aveda, when I find the lost item, I'm a mekayim a mitzvah. When I find it, I take care of it. So too, when I take 100 shekel out of my pocket and I give somebody a loan, that moment I'm being mekayim a mitzvah. And at that moment, when I'm giving a loan, I don't have to do another mitzvah of tzedakah. Says Rabbi Kiva, that I know whether it happened or not makes you into shomer sachar. Says the Gemara, limit the Rav Yosef Tanoi. So what do you want to tell me? That Rabbi Eliezer, who argues in Rabbi Kiva, he holds not like Rabbi Yosef? Is there somebody that argues in Rabbi Yosef? Lie. Even Rabbi Eliezer will hold like Rabbi Yosef when it comes to Shomer Aveda. So that since you found this item, and while you're dealing with the item, you're doing one mitzvah, you don't have to do another mitzvah. And that gives you a hana that's worth a pruta. B'malva, what happened? B'malva tzorch l'mashkin k'mifligi daf Beis Amud Beis. There's another shaila here. What happened was, a guy comes over and he says, hey, you got $10,000 to lend me? And the first thought is, Absolutely not. And then you think to yourself, well, you got a nice BMW that I want to drive around here and there. Yeah, I have. Actually, I do have. What can you give me as collateral? You have a shtickle BMW. Yeah. Oh, okay, deal. So be'etzem, you're enjoying it. So you're not really being mekayim a mitzvah perhaps by giving the loan because you really want that BMW. You need to go on a trip now. Huh? No. Because Rashi says first words that minaka, you have to take off the value of that BMW from the loan. Every time you use it, you're going to take off $25. Mar sovar mitzvah ka'avid. The malva is doing a mitzvah by giving a loan. Shilvo v'havi shemesachar. So that's the whole thing that we just said, that we give a loan. You have ana at the time of the loan because you don't have to give tzedakah then. So that makes you shemesachar. Umar sovar and Rebbe Lezer holds lav mitzvah ka'avid. You're not doing a mitzvah. Stop pretending you're a nice guy. Shlan azim iskav, and all you do, you want to use that tool. So Meir, that's why you give the loan. There's just a little bit of a question here.
You're not doing it for your pleasure.
You're giving a $1,000 loan or a $25 loan, so you can use his $10,000 car. So you're not doing it for the mitzvah. You're doing it for yourself. You're selfish.
Yeah, but why are you doing it just for yourself?
What do you mean do it for yourself?
You're using the guy's car.
Yeah.
You're using his fancy car. So you're getting a tremendous benefit out
right.
of it. So,
no, again, let's start from the beginning. When a person gives a loan, when you give a $10 loan, you're mekayim a mitzvah d'oraisa of lending money. At that point, as you're taking the money out of your pocket, you're doing a mitzvah. So if somebody asks you for money, tzedakah, you don't have to give him. You say, I'm in the middle of I'm busy now with a mitzvah, and the halacha is that the fact that you can tell the poor person, stop, I don't want to talk to you now, get out, that gives you a hana. Rav Schoenberg got hana that day when he told the guy, that gave him a one pruta hana. Okay, so that hana is worth something, makes you into shomer sachar. Says the Gemara, but when you give the $10 loan because you had a side benefit, because you're going to use his whatever, so you're no longer being mekayim a mitzvah, so to speak, of lending. It's not lending anymore. So if a poor person comes and asks you for money, you're not potter, you'll be chayiv. And maybe you don't get the shomer sachar. You're correct.
No, he's asking,
Okay, yeah. So now I'm going right. That's where. Here, 1 minute. So I'm getting to something. I don't know if this will answer. You're trying to ask. I don't understand. The guy gave a $10,000 loan, and he instead got to use this guy's $200,000 car. So that's actually called rental. He rented a car. That's what you're asking. Okay. So they say, look, the guy came to you for the loan. You didn't come to him to rent the car. So you thought, okay, he has something good that I like, and I'm going to use. I'm not renting a car. I'm not going to use it 24/7. Once in a while, it's collateral / I can use the collateral. It's not a rental. Had he wanted to rent a car, he would have gone to a rental car place and rented a car. So it fell into his lap. Okay, so use it. I think that's what they're saying. That they use it once in a while. So it's not a real rental. What? Yeah. You're saying that when he uses it, he turns into a shomer sachar. I hear. Interesting. It's okay. Show him say this. Pei Beis Amud Beis, sponsored by Eric Adelman of Bigger Cup Consulting and Chanie and Paul Schuster with a Rabbi. I don't know what this is. I just thought about something. We might have to bring this consulting guy in here because the Olam is complaining about the size of the coffee cups. Eric Adelman of Bigger Cup Consulting and Chanie and Paul Schuster with Hakaras Hatov, the Fishel, Simcha and Ner Tamid for bringing Reb Eli, MDY and DafYomi into our lives. Now nobody will forget the name. It's not about the money. It's about getting the line moving. Let's say each cup was a 16 ounce. The guy stays there by the machine. Has to grind more beans, more of this. 2 cups before shir starts. These are like these are the nicest machines you can buy in Eretz Yisrael. We have two of them. We have a third one in the kitchen. Once we make a little room, we'll have a third one. It'll make the line even quicker. These are $4,000 or $5,000 machines. No, you're volunteering? I actually offered him just 2 weeks ago. He said no, he's busy. In the morning, that's when he does his thing. Right? It's very simple. Abba Shal says you get a collateral from somebody and it's worth money. Rent it out so that the poor person could benefit from it. That's the halacha. But we have to explain what Abba Shal meant. Ella b'mara ufasal v'kardim. These three things, basically like some sort of shovel, something that looks like an axe that creates, and a kardim is a tool that cuts leather. These are tools. Hoyel v'nofesh agrayu. You make a lot of money on the rental. V'zutur pechsayu. What's the word in English? The wear and tear, depreciation. Okay, great. Is very minimal. Memela. But let's say a car. Let's say a poor person gives you a car. Doesn't mean that you have the right to rent it, because every time you rent it, comes back with a couple of scratches. You do much more damage than good, and Memela don't do that. Says the Heilige Mishnah, sponsored in recognition of myself and all the Chevra of MDY. What? You saying without? I thought it's with. But I don't know. Oh no. No. I'm talking about the top of the Amud. I thought is with. This is probably without. You're right. Yeah. I was thinking about something else because they asked me the same question yesterday. This is where was it? Yeah, that right. The top of the Amud where the guy wanted to use his car, so the car over there was with. Somebody was hired to move somebody's barrel of wine from one place to the other place. He tripped, fell, and broke it. We actually, just to remind the Olam how Baba Kama looked, if you knew. So we have a guy that does this full time for us. Or we did. I don't know where he is now. It's the 8-minute daf bottle with next to the MDY sign. This is not mamish. This is more of tripping. So the question is this guy, that was also give one guy tripped and then somebody tripped over him. That's the Gemara. 3 guys fell. So Ben Shem Mechina, Ben Shem Mesachar, Yishava, you swear that you weren't negligent. Shloi Pasha. Real quick, I said this mice over again. I said it a while ago. In Yerushalayim, there was basically famine, so they sent somebody out from Yerushalayim to Italy. So the Yishalmi gets to Italy, gets there right before Shabbos, gets off the boat, he has no idea where he's going. So the first thing is he davens. He says, Hashem, help me out. I could do Shabbos somewhere, somehow. I don't know where to go. So this wagon pulls up. He says, Rebbe, what are you doing? He said, okay, come with me. Takes him to his house, beautiful house, the whole thing. And this is Miras. The Yerushalmi asks him in the middle of the meal, he says, I don't understand. You have this nice closet and all your silver, and then there's a broken bottle on the bottom. What's this? He says, I'll tell you. I used to be a frum guy, and I inherited this factory. And once I inherited the factory, my Yiddishkeit started slipping, started missing mincha, and then shacharis, tefillin, kitzer, went off the derech. I'm walking down the street, I see a kid crying. So what's going on? He says, my father is very poor and he collected a lot of money for a long time to buy a bottle of oil for the menorah, for Hanukkah. And I tripped, I fell, I broke the bottle. How am I going to go back to my father now with a broken bottle? So the guy said, I had Rachmanis on him, and he gave him money. And on the spot, he said, how am I going to go back to my father in Shemayim with nothing? So he picked up the bottle, he brought it home, and that's his reminder of keeping Torah mitzvahs. That battle is what gave him the chizuk to be frum. So Zok the Gemara, it says the Mishnah, Rebbe Lezer Oimer Zev Zeh Yishava. V'tomeyani. Says Rebbe Eliezer, yeah, you're right. Both the shomer chinam and the shomer sachar have to swear. V'tomeyani, but it makes no sense to me. Why would the shomer sachar have to swear? The Gemara is going to explain. Tana Rabban. That we had in the Mishnah. That if you trip and fall, according to Meir, you swear that you weren't negligent and you get paid. Rabbi Yehuda, you don't have to pay yourself for the barrel. Rabbi Yehuda, it makes sense that if you're a shomer chinam who doesn't pay for gneva aveda, so you swear that you weren't negligent, but if you got money for this, you shall it. I understand that my Rebbe Meir says Yishava. But Tomeani im Yecholim Zevez Elishava. We'll explain. Lemeir the Sovereign Meir Nitka Lav Poisheyu. So we have a contradiction here because Meir holds in our Mishnah that by him tripping, he's not negligent. You can view it, a normal human being walks up and down the street thousands of times, doesn't trip. When he's holding on to your package, your bottle of wine, and he trips and falls, he's negligent. But Meir says he doesn't have to pay for it. All he has to do is make a shvuah. So that means that tripping and falling is not a negligent act. The problem is that we have a contradiction. If a person was carrying some sort of barrel and it broke, comes somebody else and he didn't clean it up. If you were negligent, so you just created a bar b'shus harabim. You just created a danger in the middle of a public place. You have to get rid of it. If somebody comes and trips on that barrel, you should be chayev. Your camel fell and somebody tripped on it. Rebbe Meir mechayev bezekon. What does that tell us? And the Gemara is going to say in a second. Because nitkal poisheya. Because you tripped. You were negligent. You created that danger, that bar. You should get rid of it. And if you don't get rid of it, you're chayev. You should clean it up. But if you don't, we can't do anything in Bezin. Hashem will take care of it. So how come over here we say that according to Meir, nitkal tripping is not a pusha? Omar Rebbe Elazar Tavra Mishashanazu Lashanazu. So the Belzer said this is the only time in Shas that it says Tavra on two Mishnais. So usually in Cheder, Tavra would mean it's broken. It's broken. Mishashanazu Lashanazu. He says you don't say broken on a Mishnah. It means it's a question, not a broken. So Mishashanazu Lashanazu, in fact, you're right, it's contradiction. We have to say that the one that wrote this Mishnah didn't write the other one. Now, Rabbi Yehuda argues in Meir. Rabbi Meir says that nitkal is posheya, right? That if you trip, you are negligent. Shomer chinam yishava. No, we're going to say posheya. That Rabbi Yehuda holds that nitkal is not a posheya. It's more similar to gneva v'aveda. What's gneva v'aveda? It's not a oinus. It's not posheya. It's like you weren't careful. So memela noisasachar yishalem. Therefore, if he got paid, he's like, gneva v'aveda. He should have to pay for it. It's in the same category. Just like a shomer chinam typically swears and gets out of it, a shomer sachar has to pay. Can't swear. So memela over here also does no shvuah and he has to pay. You're right, Gemara Meir. You're right, we learned such a thing that both have to make a shvuah, even a shomer sachar makes a shvuah. I don't understand how it's possible. Shomer chinam can make a shvuah that there's no pshia. Elo shomer sachar and my mishtaba. What good does it do that he swears even if he didn't do a pshia like a gneva v'aveda? You have to pay. And even a shomer chinam, if there's a slope, I can understand why he fell. But a flat sidewalk, nothing tripping him, no stone, nothing sticking out. How could you say that that's not considered negligence? And even if there's a slope, when there's nobody looking, if there are people watching, what kind of shvuah is there? Let him bring these witnesses. Now we'll see in a second. There's a mandam that says even if there's witnesses, you're not mechuyev to go get them. The pasuk is talking about. Do I have the pasuk here? The pasuk is talking about a shomer sachar who's watching an animal for somebody, and it says ein roya. Nobody saw. So he shvus Hashem to ibn Shneihem that he has to swear that he wasn't negligent. Hayesh roya, but you can be medayik that if somebody did see, yavi raya v'yipater. He should bring a raya, and therefore he'll become potter. So, Meir is going to say that what? Nitkal is what? Not a Pishel. Oinus. And he's also going to argue on Isi ben Yehuda. He's going to say that so what if there's people that were there, then you don't have to bring them. Okay. I wanted to get a little bit further, but since we started a little late, by the way, Rabbi Isai, we have to say Yishkoyach to Dave Sharfman. He is on a trip now, and we really missed him. That's why we started 5 minutes late. You should have a lot of fun. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day.